This is our owl painting, and I'm going to put it right over here and get started. We're going to use a big brush, and we're going to use a large angle brush, and we're going to use a small brush. I don't need very many colors. I just need white, yellow, and orange, and brown, and black. All right, so here we go. I'm going to get my yellow out, and I'm going to make my basic shape. I'm going to get my big angle brush, and excuse me, I'm going to figure out these little areas that I need. My yellow's a little bit, my brush is a little dirty here. Okay, I'm going to make a little area here that's going to curve down. It's going to start right about in the middle of my painting, right about there at the top. And it's going to come down about a third of the way. So that's about a third, about like that. And I just want to do it really lightly, just kind of make a little line like that. And then I want to come over here and make another one that arcs more like that. It comes in maybe a third of the way across, or maybe a quarter of the way across, honestly. A quarter of the way across and a quarter of the way down like that. Not about a quarter, arc like that. So you get a sense of how that's coming off, but the top goes off the bottom. And then down here, I'm going to come up 2 or 3 inches, about like that. Come across and go up a little higher than that. So this is lower, this is higher. That's about 2.5, 3 inches. That's about maybe 3.5 or 4. And then I'm gonna make it a kind of a slight little bow curve like that, kind of coming over, but going off more straight. And then here, this curve is gonna come back in, like right about there. It comes back in, right around the middle of the painting, about like that, on the side. And then it's gonna curve down about into a third. So it's about a third, and then it goes around like that. So I'm just gonna see how I made my nice shape of his head. And then I'm gonna come up a little bit here for the bottom of the beak. And then the middle of the beak is right about in the middle of the painting, right about the middle, right about there, roughly. So I'm going to put, that's going to be a big bow curve. Actually, that's a little bit big. Let me come up a little higher than that. And it's going to be a little wide and then get narrower at the bottom, okay? So it looks like a parenthesis kind of thing, but it's a little bit wider at the top, a little bit narrower at the bottom. Make sure you try to catch that. And then I'm going to come down here and make my eye. Now the eye is going to be a little bit tricky because I want to make it look big, and round and not too angry. So I'm going to look down about a third of the way down, or about like that, and come in about a third of the way, right about there, about like that. So we get a third of the way down, third of the way in, about like that. And then over here, I'm about a quarter of the way down, which is what that was, quarter of the way down, and I'm in about a quarter of the way in again. So I'm in about a quarter of the way, which is right about there, about a quarter of the way. And then this is going to be, I'm going to bring it from this side. I'm going to come a little bit up, and then start coming down like that. So what you don't want is you don't want it to angle down too much. So that's pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to come in on both sides. I'm going to come in right about here, just a little bit. And I'm going to come over here in just a little bit like that. And then make this big shape that's going to be not quite round. It's going to curve around, kind of round like this. And the bottom of this shape wants to be a little bit above the middle. So if I find the middle down, here's the middle, right? So I come like that, maybe come up right about, a little bit above the middle. So there's the middle, about the middle right about there. Come a little bit above the middle, kind of like that. That's pretty good. About the middle. So the middle of my paint is right there. This is going to come down a little bit above the middle. All right. Now it's going to come over here, and it's going to come down a little bit like a little tear duct, and then kind of curve down like this. And then inside is going to be a circle. But the circle is going to go off the top some. So what I'm going to do is start on the inside, a little bit like that on the inside. That's going to curve around like a circle. But over here, since what got kind of funny there, this is going to keep being a circle like that. So this keeps being a circle. This keeps being a circle. It like disappeared off the top. So a little bit of disappears off the top, not a lot, a little bit. And on the inside, there's the iris. The pupil, and the pupil is going to be inside, again, concentric to that, and the pupil is almost all there, not quite, but the pupil is almost all there, almost the whole circle. So that's what you get, all right? Then I'm going to get some yellow paint, I got yellow, and paint this part in right here. That's his yellow part right there. And then I'm going to get a little bit of orange paint, a little bit of orange, and just lightly brush some orange down like this from the top so that it looks orangier at the top on both sides, like that. It can be a little bit bigger than I think I might want because I got black going all around it. And then at the bottom, it just kind of feathers down into that yellow part like that. All right, like that? Perfect. All right, good. Now I want to get my brush rinsed out a little bit. I got some yellow brown and some whitish brown. I'm going to get my yellow brown, big scoop of yellow, a little bit of brown, and I'm going to, a very little bit of brown. Start doing some little strokes like this. This is my big brush, my big angle brush. Now my big angle brush I'm going to use to do some flat strokes, kind of flat like that. And I'm going to just brush like this, so just flat strokes like that. And I'm going to keep on building them. Also, this is a painting where if you're left-handed I really, really strongly recommend you have the person switch the other way, because this is very right-handed here. Everything I'm doing with this paint is very right-handed, even though my cats go the other way, or our cats go the other way. This one is a little bit more like this. Okay, then down toward the bottom, it might be a little bit browner. So a little bit browner, a little bit browner, kind of like a little bit browner, a little bit browner, kind of like that. All right, and then I'm going to come across over here, and I'm going to make this part, right in through here, I'm going to make this same kind of thing, kind of like that. The angle this way a little bit. But again, try to get some more, lots of yellow, a little bit of brown. Now, you'll notice that I didn't paint white everywhere. It's going to be up to you if you paint white everywhere. If you want to paint white everywhere, that's fine. If you want to do that first, that's perfectly fine, but it's not necessary. If people have a lot of yellow lines everywhere, they're going to have to, but they shouldn't have too much. But if you need to, go ahead and do it. Okay. Let's see, there's that, and then I come across over here. Again, it's just going to be his basic physiology. His little feathers come out this way, and then down here, they're a little shorter coming down into this lower area here. But the lower area, down like that, they're going to change a little bit. They're going to become more whitish brown. So I'm going to go back to this area down here at the bottom before I get all this done, which is whitish brown, and get myself some white and brown. Wipe off my white a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm still doing yellow brown. Yellow, a little bit of brown. And then I'm going to brush like that. This is all big strokes back like that. Big strokes back like that. Lots of yellow, a little bit of brown. And you see how light that is. It's not too super dark. And occasionally I'll pick up just some yellow, so I got some areas that are a little bit lighter still. And if a little bit of white shows in the back there, that's okay, that's fine. I got white canvas anyway. But if you have an issue where you think you need to go more and paint white over this whole area, that's certainly fine. Okay, so there's that. Got that all done. And then I'm going to quit about here, and then I'm going to work in my my whitish brown. And I'm going to get some. I'm going to do a few little strokes here that are the yellow brown, a few little yellow brown strokes like that. And then I'm going to rinse out my brush some and get my white and brown. So I'm going to get white with a little bit of brown, and I'm going to brush that like this, so that it kind of becomes the whitish brown. Now when I do that, I'm going to do some again real light. I'm going to do some light strokes like this, and then work a few into where you've already got some, so it looks more gradual. And then it's just going to come out like this, maybe a little bit browner, kind of like that. Just very light little strokes. You know, a few that start a little sooner, like that. Maybe a few that are just a little bit darker, maybe, kind of like that. Looks good. Okay. And then this is more whitish brown through here. So this is really light. So I'm going to wipe my brush off really much. And I'm going to go really light, very scratchy, okay? Light and scratchy, very scratchy. If this was painted white before, that might still be wet and it'll blend some. But if you didn't, then you're going to have to do it like this, really light and scratchy. And then a little bit right here, a little bit scratchy, a little bit down here, a little bit more down here, like that. Just a little bit of soft, darker shadows, or feathers rather, underneath his eye there, okay? More dimension. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to feel a little more coming out like that, maybe. Okay, let's see. Then I'm going to get myself some gray paint. Actually, no. Let's go back up to this brown area right here. Let's get some of that brown with a little bit of yellow in it, just a little bit. And I want to come out here and put a little bit of an extra line right there, okay? And then brush down a little corner like that, and then come over here, do the same thing, kind of come out this way a little bit, and then brush out, so that I'm getting a little bit of a scratchy edge to that, so it looks kind of like a little shadow coming out. I'm going to put some black in there too, but that's going to be there. Okay, then I'm going to get myself some white and black, some gray, and start painting some gray parts. Where are we on time? Maybe this done in one take, hopefully. I can't see it. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my white and black. Lots of white, a little bit of black. Okay, lots of white, a little bit of black, and lots of white. And I'm going to wipe it off well, and I'll do some lines up here like this. Now, kind of like that. Now, I'm going to start out there just so I can kind of see where I am. I'll put a little bit heavier there, a little bit heavier. A few little light ones down like that, and we'll get a little bit more blackish, Put some more black ones up a little higher like that. Very loose, very random. And over here, these are pretty much just black in here, okay? Pretty much black, just little black marks. Again, I'm using my brush kind of on its edge, but also a little bit to its side, and just real random. Can sometimes use the head of the brush, the tip of it, kind of like that. Make sure something goes off the side. That's important. Kind of like that. Okay, and then over here, this is all going to come in from the side here, and this is going to be black with a little bit of white, come in like that, in, like that, brush in lightly in so it feathers inward into that, the brownish areas. Then a little bit here, so it shows a little bit's coming in there, but not much, a little bit in from the side, I catch the corner. And then this is gonna actually create a little bit of a shadowy edge here, where, or a feathery edge, I mean. So that edge right there I created with the black. I just had a lot of loose stripes, but I just brought that in real random, zigzag it without looking too fakey. And then this is going to come and be real black in here, and brush out, and then I'll have a little bit of white in here, so a little bit lighter in here, and that's just going to be lighter. Let me get a little more white. Lighter. We got kind of lighter in through there like that. Brush that out a little bit, like so. And get that going. And then over here, it's going to be a little blacker. I'm going to get some really light with the edge of my brush. So they're black strokes, but maybe a little bit of white in there, but just light, right, more random as his feathers coming back this way. A little wider here and there. And kind of like that. Looking all good, okay? And then I'm going to get myself some black paint and put some black in his beak, paint his beak black. I forgot to do one thing, y'all. I forgot to put this color down here. I'm going to let it go, but you can bring some of this color down here. I'm going to do that. So when you do this step, I might bring some of that whitish brown there. I'm going to leave it, see how it looks. Okay, got some black in here, nice and black. But then after I put the black on there, then I'll get some white paint, and I'll scrape it off some, use the edge of my brush, and just lightly brush some little striking strokes of white paint that are more toward the top, and then kind of lightly come down a little bit, not all the way, maybe a little bit in here like that, just to get this little sense of some shine on there, but almost a little textured also, so it's not too smooth. And then be a little bit more white to the a little whiter at the top, just really light like that, just really light, real light, it's looking good. Okay, then I'm gonna get my brush, wipe it out, and I'm gonna do a really light whitish gray, whitish black, light gray. I'm gonna do really light. Okay, a little bit. Oh, that's too dark. A little more white. A little bit, like a little bit there, a little bit there, a little light strokes. We gotta really use a light touch, a little bit coming in like this, a little bit light, a little bit coming in this way like that, real light, a few little loose ones over here like so. This is all coming down toward his beak, so they're gonna kind of feather down to his beak a little bit like that. And then come down this way some, a few over here, maybe a few little light ones over like that, real light and just easy. And then a little bit stronger, a little bit more black or just a little harder pushing. A little bit stronger down in here. I want to brush a little bit darker down here. This is more like a little shadow on the bottom, more defining. A little section there, maybe a little section over here like that. And then as it comes down over here, it's just going to be a lot of strokes like this, just not all filled in, but a few more over there to be a little fuller and more of a slightly darker area around the bottom of his beak there. Maybe a few little darker ones coming toward his shadow, toward his beak, kind of like that. And I might even get a little more black and just put a little bit more down toward the bottom of that, just to show a little bit more of the dark shadow that's revealing, so that those look like two different surfaces there. Wouldn't hurt to put a little bit more there. Okay, all right, cool. Now once that's done, I'll get my black up in his eye. So I'm going to take my black, and I'm going to very lightly just put some black in there, and get some black. And I'm going to, first let's paint the outside. Once we've put some black in there, let's lightly paint across the top. I don't want a big thick line across the top of the orange there. So I'm going to paint it really lightly across like that, and then come out a little bit like that. I'm going to brush a little bit of black out on top of that brown, so I got a little bit of a black dry brush in there too. And then I'll paint this part, which is that nice little curve there. And that comes around like this, and it came down kind of out a little bit. And then there's a little bit of an extra part, kind of comes down like that, a little extra part, a little linear part like that, like a little shadow or something. And that looks good. And then I'm going to paint the ring around the iris, which needs to look like it's concentric around here, like that. And then that comes around like this. And I'll paint this in. And then I'll paint the inside of the eye. The pupil. Now the pupil needs to be such that I'm going to make it a lot bigger than this area it looks like it's going to leave, because I need to make my iris kind of small. So I'm going to try to keep this nice and concentric and not too big around there. So concentric just means that it's going to be the same all the way around, like they show the same center, kind of like that. And then I'll paint that in, and then while it's still a little wet, I'll get a little bit of white paint, just a little bit of white paint, just put a little bit of white down there, just brush a little bit of white, just let that get all eaten up by the black, just a little bit down there. And if it's too much, that's a little bit too much. I'll put a little more black on top and let that kind of go back. There we go, kind of like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I gotta come back in here with some white paint now, almost done. Look at some white paint. Where are we on time? Gonna make it? Okay, I want to get myself some white paint with my angle brush, and I'll start up here. And I'll get some white, just little dabs of white. There's little dabs of white right on top of all that. Gets a little bit of black on it, just get some more. A little white, white, white. That's all part of his feathering. A little white, a little bit of white, 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 all around. And then I'm gonna put some white, longer white strokes out this way. Hopefully that's pretty dry there. Yeah, longer white strokes. Again, not real harsh, but just wide, kind of a little scratchy, but they're obviously on the top there. They're gonna come up this way a little bit, come out from the bottom. And that's all part of my, again, just part of his coloring, okay? White like that right on top of there. And then the last thing I'll do is get a little bit of white paint and put a little dab, upside down part of my brush, get a little dab of paint right there, give him a highlight, and I think that's it. He's all done, so good luck with him.